My name is Mikey. This is a tutorial on how to play Icarus. So Icarus is a survival game in an alien world. It seems a lot scarier than it is. It's pretty much just Earth, only the air is poison, and a couple other things are different as well, like some of the animals. Really not that complicated. So when you get to the first opening screen, you're going to try to click settings, and you're going to try to go in and turn on your gameplay for the controller, and it's not going to work because it doesn't work yet. The game is still in beta, and every time you go to try it, it will fail. So don't even bother. You have to use a keyboard to play this game. So when you click play, you can go into your character selection. This is my character already, obviously named after me. He's level 51. We're not going to do that to you. We're going to make a new character. It's going to look exactly the same. His name is going to be Mikey 2. I don't care what he looks like. You're not really going to be looking at his face ever at all. Now these icons down here, they are basically remnants of what you get in the game. So this purple remnant is exotics. Exotics are a distinctly purple stone you find in the game. When you have a steel pickaxe and you look at the stone that is purple, the purple one, and it says exotics, that's how you know that that's the one that you can mine, and you can send it back here to the station. So they'll drop you on this planet, you mine the exotics, you call the orbital beacon, you put it in the beacon, and you send it back to the station. Once you have it back at the station, it will tell you how many you've collected. So far, I have collected 27. Now this is only one haul of exotics that I have done. I've done many hauls of exotics. I've spent them on other things. You can exchange it for either the red icon or the yellow icon, which are just different forms of currency. However, exotics are the most important thing, and they're pretty much the only thing you're going to be able to find in the game on normal mode. So, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to click New Open World, and you're going to go to Olympus. Now, you might not be able to do this right away. You might be stuck with the first opening mission. That's okay too. It's going to be basically the same stuff. So what we're going to do, create open world. We're going to leave the difficulty on normal. We're going to name this tutorial. Claim prospect. Now, this screen is going to look super weird to you because you haven't bought anything yet. So it's going to say generic exosuit. You have to wear that on the planet because the air is poison. And anything you drink or eat will also be filtered by the suit to make sure you don't get poisoned by the stuff on the planet. Not super great. However, it's fine, you know? And if, like me, you eventually have enough money to buy stuff and you want to bring it with you, you can just drag it and drop it in this area. If it's an exosuit, if it's other things, you pick it up and you drag it into this area and you can drop it here. And if you want to make sure, if you fail and you die a million times and you seriously cannot get your gear back, you want to click insurance. That way, you can recover your things, and they're not lost forever, which did happen to me when I dropped in the middle of the Arctic with a fancy backpack. But we don't need these things right now. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get generic over here. This is where I have my other Olympus world. This one I just started. I have my gear here. I did just drop it because I was killed by a bear, but I will be able to recover it because I'm at a much higher level in the character that I selected. So I will not have any problems. However, if you drop in another world and you're having so many problems, can't get your gear back, that's what the insurance is for. However, when you're first starting out, you won't have any gear, so this screen's just going to look super weird. Ignore it. Confirm loadout. Now it's going to ask you where you want to be placed. You can only earn this after you've done your introductory mission here in the river area. The river area is the easiest, and it's more like forests and things. There are several lakes, as you can see along here. You're going to want to set up shop at one of the lakes or a body of water. If you can pick an area that has a body of water and also resources, which is the green areas, that's definitely what you want to look for. The savanna up here in the north should be fine. All the way here to the left, the Riverlands is very nice, but it has worse weather. And then down here in this forest area, this is the opening level 1 world. They drop you here, they see if you can live long enough, and if you get to a certain level and you do a certain amount of things, they're like, okay, you can survive the other places. So we're going to start here. This is where it tells you what it is, conifer, which describes the type of forest you're dropping into, comfortable amount of temperature, so not extreme, not too hot, not too cold, like it would be in the savanna or the Arctic here in the center. You don't want any of these three right now. You also want to make sure you have a high amount of resources in the areas that you drop into, or you have to be prepared to not have any resources and die a million times, especially if you're just starting out. You can invite other people to play with you, or you can just do a private session. It is a little bit glitchy because it does have a very high frame rate and there is a lot going on. But personally, it never affected the way that I play the game. I do have a gaming PC. It is a couple of years old now, but I invested a lot of money in it so that it would run games like this. So that is already accounted for my playthrough. Preparing geometry. Now, every time you arrive on a planet, whether it's the first time you are at a prospect or after you die, they will deliver your current body in this pod. This delivery pod is 100% safe. Nothing ever goes wrong in this pod, so you're fine. You're going to be okay. You just wait until the screen is over. You look at all the weird stuff that doesn't make any sense. The clock on the wall has your latitude and longitude, little sticky notes, and free falling on your telephone.
First things first. If you want to complete missions for the UDA, you'll need to craft a short-range radio. Plenty of folks need help, and factions pay well for prospectors that offer their time. Up to you. Stay safe.
That is Soul. He basically gives you the 2 pieces of advice you need to start on the planet, and that's pretty much it. Now, if you bring anything with you, it's going to be here in your ship. So if you hit tab and you go to your inventory and you're like, where's all the shit I wanted to bring with me? You turn around, you hit F, and here you go. There's going to be your cargo will be here and your mission equipment. Basically, this is going to be radars, cave scanners, things like that. They'll give those to you if they want you to complete those types of missions, or you purchase them and bring them with you so that you have them on your playthrough. When you're level 1, you are not going to have any of these things. When you first start off, Soul is going to tell you a couple of different things. He's going to tell you need to collect oxide. This is oxide, this blue stone. You can pick it up, although you see you only picked up 1, it'll tell you you picked up a couple, and that's going to be good. The game does that quite a bit. So if you collect 1 thing, you're going to get more than that. If you pick up a stick, you're going to get 2 instead of 1. If you pick up a bit of fiber, you're going to get 7 instead of 1. This will cut down on your resource gathering time significantly. Now, the second thing he's going to tell you is that you need to be near water. So while I'm just grabbing a whole bunch of random stuff here so I can take it with me, we need to find the closest water source. They also have food on the animal, on the planet. They have food on the planet, pumpkins, watermelon, berries, soybeans. This is a tea plant. You can't eat that, but you can make it into a drink later. More pumpkins. So just gather a little bit of food, gather a couple of resources. You are going to need all of these things in abundance. So just gather as you go. This is what a large version of the oxide looks like. It says that little red icon in the middle because I cannot hit it with my bare hands and get shit from it. You need to have a pickaxe. So in order to get a pickaxe, we have to collect things like rocks and sticks and fiber off the ground because we don't have any tools. And we have to make tools out of the basics you find on the ground. That's what we're going to do. This is a cocoa plant. You also cannot eat this, but you can make hot chocolate with it once you're like super high level and you have a ridiculous amount of stuff. So I don't know why there are so many cocoa plants in this game. I've never once made a cup of cocoa. Alright. Down trees is a great way to get wood, and when you first land, that's going to be normal. So, in order to get the wood, we have to make an axe. These are the things that I've collected in my inventory. Green things are things that you can eat. If you right-click and you do consume, you'll eat 1. If you right-click and you consume stack, it'll eat more than 1 until your food bar is all the way full. Sometimes it'll go over your food bar, so be careful with that. You can sort your inventory here. You can make it by name, stack, type, and weight. Weight is the most important because then you can see things that are weighing you down a lot. And if you're over encumbered, which means you're holding more than you need to be, you can right click and drop it. And if you didn't mean to drop it, hit tab again, go up to the item, press F. Now you have all your stuff back. Now if you want to make tools, you go to crafting. We're going to need a pickaxe, and we are going to need a stone axe. It tells you exactly how many materials you need to make each thing, and once you gather those materials, you can make the item, obviously. Now, tools will automatically register down here in your hotbar. Your hotbar can be scrolled through with the center of your mouse. Woo! There it goes. Now these things, I don't know why they give them to you immediately, because unless you have previous loadouts from the game, it's really hard to make any of these things, except for this. And this I find to be null and void. When you come across meat and you can cook meat, it also keeps you full for a long time, and you don't need to do things like this, where you cobble together random food for a berry and seed bar. It does have benefits, but I have never found the need for it, and I've had a great time playing this game. Now when you get too much wood or you get too much stone, you can put them together into these 100 piles, and that's great, but like, honestly they weigh the same, so what's the point? Alright, so now we have our axe. We're going to come over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to gather all the wood. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 swipes of the axe will pretty much take care of almost everything. Even when you upgrade your tools, they really don't get much better than this, which I think is one of the game's flaws, is that even when you get nicer stuff, you don't gather resources any faster than you did with your other stuff. It is maybe one swing more efficient, and that's not really very helpful, especially when you have to use so many resources to upgrade your tools. So keep that in mind as you play. Now, better things you won't have to repair as often, and if shit just flies away, you can find it later, unless it clips through the ground and it's gone forever. I love video games. So, there it is. Flew through the air, but it's not gone forever. Take advantage of any downed trees that you find, pick up any of the shrubbery around it so you can clearly see what you're picking up. Again, you are going to need a lot of resources, so just gather them. If you want to spend the first 10 to 20 minutes of the game doing that, you absolutely can, and it's definitely going to be good for you. The problem is that the weather typically changes quickly. There you go. I leveled up already. Just picking stuff off the ground and making things. So, up in this corner, when I get out of this tab screen, that is going to be the weather forecast. Pay very close attention to that. When it's green, the weather is lovely. When it's yellow, the weather is okay. When it's spiky, the weather is going to get bad. And when there's red spikes, you better have a bunker, because the weather will probably kill you. Probably. Exposure does not really do a lot to you, so if you don't have shelter, you're out gathering resources, and you see a storm warning and you're really far away from home, you're probably going to be okay. It's going to suck, and it's going to wear down slightly on your stamina, but otherwise, you'll live. So don't freak out when the storm comes in. It's not the end of the world. You should eventually get to shelter every time there's a storm. In my personal opinion, you should always have shelter available for yourself. But you don't really need it, if I'm honest. To survive the storms, anyway. You do need shelter in order to build other things and to make sure the benches that you create will work. Benches like crafting benches, carpentry, things of that nature. I just picked up some soybeans. Those are edible as well. Unlike cocoa and tea, which is completely useless until you have water. Now, lilies are medicinal. You take these if you want. They will take up space in your inventory until you have time to deal with them, but that's up to you if you want to go that route. Now, I feel like we have a reasonable amount of items. I'm going to go up here and just sort them by name, and now we see we have this much fiber. We have some lilies, we have oxite, which you can click over to inventory, and you can drag and drop that in your oxygen slot. This way, it will slowly consume what you need to not asphyxiate yourself. Now, you see the next thing that we're going to need is water. So, we are definitely going to have to search for a water source soon. However, I want to show you the tech tree. When you first start out, this is what shit's going to look like. You have all the basics. You can scroll over on this one, see all the things that you can unlock. Your very first priority is going to be an oxidizer. This is going to maximize your oxygen usage. That way, the stones only last for so long, but when you input them into an oxidizer and then you breathe what it creates, you can basically make sure that you're not using up as much rock. I'm trying to put this as simply as possible. You're also going to need a campfire, and you are going to need a stone knife. Now, the stone knife you need in order to skin animals, you're going to get meat, fur, and bone off of animals. You need those things to craft. The campfire is necessary. You have to set it up in order to keep yourself warm during the storms, at night, and then when you have a bedroll, you'll be able to sleep next to the campfire and skip the night. Now you have all these tiers. Tier 4 is like you're making guns, you have carbon fiber and composites, you're doing great. Tier 3, you're starting to make copper and electricity, things that can take care of themselves, a fire extinguisher, high quality tools, things of that nature. Tier 2 is really where the majority of your best things are going to be, and that's just because this will dissolve the oxide stone much more efficiently. You can also put a bunch of different little canisters in there to fill up the oxygen for you. These things will help melt iron and smelt other things as well, so you can turn ore into, what do they call them, ingots. So that's what we're going to look for, and that's what we're going to aim for, is tier 2, which is the crafting bench. Right now, we're stuck here, and that's totally fine. But the next things that we want to unlock with the tech tree are going to be a basic bandage, because you're going to get hurt. You're going to need a medium wood crate or a small wood crate to put the things in that you don't need right now that will weigh down your inventory. And you're going to need a suture kit, health recovery, and a splint. These are absolutely necessary. You should not skip these. I have tried that. It does not work. For your talent tree, you have a lot of different talents you can go through. You have survival, adventure, habitation, and combat. These are for guns, blades, spears, bows and crossbows, things like that. Personally, I have found that spears are very effective, so I want to put stuff into that right away. You will also have solo talents that pop up, and once you fill up this tree, like I have with my character, you can effectively say that you have god modded your character all the way to the top. And then these are the only things you would have to worry about from then on. Right now, we have the basics that we need. We're pretty good. Now the oxidizer uses bone, leather, fiber, and sticks. We have fiber and sticks, so we need bone and leather. We have all of these ingredients to make the campfire. We need a lot of fur and leather in order to make the bedroll. That's going to be more difficult. And these tools are already totally easy to make, including a stone knife. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to crafting, and we are going to make a knife. It's also very important for you to have throwing knives or some sort of spear, because when these animals come at you, and they're very aggressive when they want to be, you will die if you don't have long distance weapons. So, next priority is going to be finding water. Let's see if we can find water before I die. Now, a big part of this game is going to be stones. You're going to see a lot of different rocks all around. This is sulfur. The blue one is oxide. Black stone is going to be coal. Gray and white is going to be silica. And then you will see the other forms of ore as we continue throughout the game. Small trees will give you sticks. Sticks will give you sticks, obviously. Most bushes will give you fiber, unless it's a food bush. In that case, it will only give you food. This is gorse. It is also for a quenching beverage, but it's completely useless. Avoid these at all costs. If they come at you, just stab them once and they will be dead. but they will persistently follow you throughout the map and eventually kill you. If you see an animal in the wild, like we just saw a wolf, and you don't want it to see you right away, just walk behind it. You will be totally fine. It will not see you. They cannot hear you in this game. They can only see you with their eyes. The only exception to that rule is bears. Bears will run across the entire map just to take you out. If you see a bear anywhere in this game, you are either dead already, or you need to guarantee that you turn around and run the other direction for at least a mile so that it doesn't get anywhere near you. Alright, so thankfully a lake was very close by, so we are going to go up to the lake. We're going to drink. And now we're not going to die. Of that, at least. Now, what I like to do early game, put all the edible food in your hotbar. Berries go bad really fast, so don't worry about that. You're going to need what happens when they spoil, which is called a spoiled plant. You'll need those in order to make other stuff. So right now, first things first, is we need to find a place to build shelter. You'll see other things that pop up, like corn. This can be helpful as well. Make sure to prioritize gathering oxite, because if you run out, you're done, and that is it. The good news is, it's everywhere. So just collect it wherever you see fit. Make sure you get the whole stone, because for some reason in this game, you have to break the rocks like this, in a weird hexagonal shape. Which is fine, because it gives you a meter to how much the rock is left. We need the whole rock. Now you see at the bottom of the screen, right above my hotbar, where we're starting to get high up in kilograms, which means we are carrying almost too much. When it gets red, when the thing at the top turns red and the bar is red, that means you are holding too much stuff and you need stuff to drop. But until then, I'm going to fill up my stuff bar, and we are going to get some stuff. What is this log? Okay, well that was weird. You're going to find weird things in this game. Not everything makes sense, and that's okay because it's a video game. It's going to clip some stuff. Things are going to fly off. Some things are going to disappear into the ground, and you'll never see them again. That's very normal. Now, for the animals in the game, you're going to find deer, which will run away from you. Pronghorn, which will run away from you. A baby deer, which will also run away from you. Regular deer, it's like the big ones and the regular sized ones. They're very cute though. You will also see pronghorn, which are basically small antelope and they have long horns. And then there's a chamois, which is basically a goat. It makes goat noises. It's super annoying. During a storm, you see I'm getting slight exposure. The only danger you have during really bad storms like this is that it is slowly diminishing my health bar, and trees will fall on you. You're getting exposure. It seems really scary, but if you just eat stuff and restore your health, typically you will be fine. Now, you don't have a lot of food to spare early game, so this can be kind of stressful for you, but you're going to be okay. I promise you're going to be okay. Now, the thing to remember is that when you die, you're going to drop everything you're holding. All of your tools, everything you're wearing, your armor, everything will be dropped. This is a problem. Let's see what they look like. These things are going to be called deep mining ore deposits. This one is aluminum. You don't need aluminum for a long time, so we're not going to worry about this right now. I'm probably stressing you guys out, so I'm going to go ahead and build myself a shelter. Actually, I can't do that. I forgot. No, you can't build yourself a shelter yet. You have to earn that. Anyway, so it looks like we need a little bit more stone to make a campfire. So we're just going to go ahead to some random rock and start pounding on it. We need 24 stone, I believe. Yeah, 24. So I'll just take that. Okay. On my very first playthrough, I actually hollowed out a stone and I stood inside it and it did absolutely nothing. So that is not shelter, just to let you know. Okay, so we're going to make a campfire. Look, we can already make some berry seeds. Why not? You can do minimum or maximum when you're crafting things as well. So now we have a campfire. Pick it up, drag it in your hotbar, put it on the ground. Now, these things have to have fuel. So, hit F to interact with it. You're going to want to put wood, drag, and drop. It'll automatically turn on. Anything you put in here will begin cooking as long as it's applicable. For example, this corn is going to turn into charred corn. And it'll be more efficient when you eat it. Now, the storm has already passed, so obviously I don't need anything anymore, because I'm ridiculous. But anyways, I should have done that sooner, that's my fault. Now you're going to make sure all of your bars, your oxygen, your food, and your water are sufficiently filled before you continue what you're doing. If you don't, you will just randomly die, and then you'll be like, why did I randomly die? And the answer will be because you didn't pay attention. That's okay. What I'm doing now is I'm making wood piles. I'm going to drag them into my hotbar, down here right next to the other. That takes 100 wood, drag, and drop. Since I can't make a house right now, I'm just going to put this stuff here, and then I will come back and get it later. You can put it in a lot of different places. Things will catch on fire in this game, so do not put anything near the fire. Do not put anything near the fire. Okay. Just going to stack them like that because it's more efficient that way. Everything else is really not taking up a lot of space in my inventory. I'm not going to need seeds right now, except to make the friggin' seed bar, and they're really not that great. So we don't need this. We're not going to run into a lot of that. And we don't need this, so we're not going to run into a lot of that. What we're going to run into is a lot of berries and a lot of fiber. So these seeds are worth keeping. The other ones, not so much. Lilies, I don't believe you're going to need them for a while. When it comes to healing, you don't have a lot of options, so we're not going to keep the lily. We're just going to drop it here on the ground. I'll show you what happens to stuff that you drop. It looks totally normal, totally fine. The other stuff I dropped is underneath it, and that's okay. Look at how weird it's moving. Anyway, this will disappear, typically after the rate of decay has gone all the way down to 0%. Currently it is at 94%, and it will go down slightly over time. It's different for every single thing in the game you interact with, including trees and dead things and stuff you drop. Everything else in the game will not decay, including stone. Your resources will actually reload every time you leave the game and come back in. They'll reload a little bit differently. For example, the stone will not reload. It will stay exactly where it was, but fiber will reload, trees will start to grow, the food will mix it up, like where it grows, and that'll be that. So before we go anywhere, we're going to make sure all of our bars are full. Just going to drink a little bit of that. We're going to eat our watermelon. I'm going to check and see if our corn is done. It is. We're going to take it with us. Fires generate charcoal. Charcoal is important when you want to make purified water. It's really important to make purified water eventually in the game. For now, you're going to have to deal with getting dysentery, which is not fabulous. When you go over to your inventory in the tab, you're going to see tainted water. You are going to be drinking tainted water for a long time. You're going to be okay. However, you're probably going to get dysentery, which will slightly affect your stats until you get purified water. It's okay. Anyways, we're going to gather more stuff here. We're just going to pick up everything, because the more you gather, you'll see up in the corner next to your level bar, you get XP for gathering resources, and you're going to need them anyway, so just go pick stuff up. Pick up things on the ground, knock over the trees. At this point, I should actually probably... Oh, shit, I'm stuck. I was literally just walking, and now I cannot walk anymore. Alright, this is a great example of this game being ridiculous. So what you do is you hit escape when you're stuck and you can't go anywhere. And you go over here to the right-hand side, and you go to unstuck. It will drop you a random, 30 feet away from where you were. I don't even remember where I was. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I love this game. That really does not happen all that often, so just don't put yourself into weird places you think you're gonna get stuck. And if you do, just get unstuck. It'll be okay. In order to keep your bearings, make sure you go to the body of water nearest to you. Don't go too far away. That way you can always locate your things. I always try to set up my base by a water source so it's easier to find. And it's also really important. You need to have water nearby. Look at this thing sticking up here. I love this game. This stuff is not supposed to go above the water level, but clearly it is. This fish just bit me. Die. These are like piranha. They're like poisonous piranha. They're gonna try to get ya. They're gonna try to get ya. But they can't get ya if you kill them first. Now, before you run off gallivanting into nowhere, this is a sponge. Pick it up. You drag it into your hotbar, and you see that little blue circle next to it. When you select it on your hotbar, and you right-click, you can drink water from the sponge. You can also refill it at the water source. This is imperative if you're going to go far away from the water source at any point in time. There's nothing exciting at the bottom of the lakes. There's nothing exciting at the bottom of the rivers. Trust me, I have looked. There's nothing there. What you need to do is you need to dive in here, grab a sponge, and then you can go about your day. Because now you don't have to run back to the lake every time you need to drink water, which will be often. So, we're collecting things. We are almost at the next level. We dropped into an area with plenty of food and water because that's the way it wants you to go, and we leveled up again. See, I did barely anything, and I'm leveling up. So, this is the good thing about this game, is it's really easy to do that. Let's check. The state of decay of the things I dropped is almost at 0%, and then they will disappear. So, I'm going to put the corn in the fire. We're going to cook that. I'm going to put the pumpkin in the fire and see if it'll cook that. And the fish bits. We should also typically have meat when you kill an animal, and then you can put that in the fire as well. But these things will go bad really quickly, so it's important that you either cook them or you get rid of them from your inventory. Or you eat them. Fast. Like, see? This is what it turns into. Spoil plant. And you need this to build other things later, so we're going to keep that. But again, we don't need these seeds. We don't need these seeds. No big deal. Now, I'm going to go over to our tech tree. What is the next thing we are going to unlock? Basic bandage for when we eventually hurt ourselves, because we are ridiculous. Now, you want to go all the way to the end, ignore all this stuff, and you're going to need wood building base set. Now you can go back, and you can get the other stuff. Like you can start on some armor. That's very important as well, because when you come across an animal that wants to kill you, you are just going to die unless you're wearing armor. Now, I'm going to go over here to survival. Let's take a look at what we have. More weight capacity is good. More yielding from stone, foraging, or lumber. That's good. Hunting. We're going to need this for right now. Stamina, movement speed, and bone collector. That is also important. So we're going to get as much bone, meat, and fur as possible. That will expedite our crafting process. The lily has disappeared because it timed out. These seeds will also decay, likely a little bit more quickly than the lilies did, but either way, they will eventually disappear and this will be gone. If you want to destroy something, you can do that too. Just right-click, destroy, and then it's gone, there's no remnants of it, and you'll never see it again. Don't let it bother you. The game has infinite amount of pretty much everything, except smelting resources, but we don't need to worry about that right now. Okay, so first things first, we have unlocked our crafting things, and we're going to need wood for that. So press and hold F. We're going to pick up all these things I just put on the ground, and we are going to make a house. So, we got wood. Over here in crafting, we're going to need wood floor. We need 4 of those. And we are going to need 6 of these. We're going to need a door, and then we'll see how much roofing we need when we get there. So drag these here, drag this here. Wait for everything to finish in your queue. Drag this here. Okay. So your wood is not going to get wet. which I know is a weird thing to say. But if you want to put it directly on the ground, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. You can put it right here and put it over the water. And that's fine. If you put it out way too far in one direction or another, it will crumble and you'll lose it. And that's bad. But you can also put wooden beams like this underneath it. I'll just show you what it looks like. And it'll clip either to hold stuff up or to hold the base. If you put it down to hold the base, you can expand out further, and you can do this indefinitely as long as you have enough beams. Now we are going to set up the walls. This is your basic first wall. It's going to have the arrow pointing out. If you hit R, the arrow will be pointing in. This is the difference. Inside, outside. If you want to destroy something you built, you press Y, and it'll go right back in your inventory, and you'll be totally fine. What you should do is you should hold down R, and it will give you other options to build things in the wall. So we're going to go for the window option, and we are going to have a bunch of windows everywhere because I love windows. Now I only made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I needed 8, so we are going to go back to the crafting window, and we're going to make 2 more. They will automatically pop up in the same part of your hotbar you had them equipped to in the first place, which is helpful. Another window. And now, in order to put a door, you need to equip a door frame, which sounds stupid, but if you don't know where to find that, you won't be able to make the door snap. You see how it says must snap? Because if you don't have a door frame, you cannot put a door on your house. I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's true. Now, when it comes to roofing, you have a couple different options, but this is going to be the easiest option. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to build 4 pieces of roofing, and we're out of wood. That's okay. We're just going to go get some more real quick. If you don't build the house correctly, you will not get the benefits from shelter that you need, and that's really important. So if you don't have the shelter benefits, you're going to struggle. In order to build things, be able to sleep properly, to put down your bedroll, to have the fire give you a coziness bonus, all of these things are dependent on whether or not you have sufficient shelter. So when you build a house, you can't just build a couple walls and you're fine. You can't just put down the floor and be fine. You have to build all the walls. You have to put down all the flooring. You have to put a door. Or just all walls and then just have one wall that you randomly take down. I don't know why you would do that. But if you can't figure out how to make a door, that's fine. Just do that instead. You have to have all the walls, all the flooring, and all the roof. So, we'll make 4 of these. And I believe we are going to need 4 of these. Now, because these are different items, and you have to drag them down into your hotbar to replace the other things that you were holding. This will automatically snap into the best place to put your roof. If you press R, it'll go down for a ramp instead, but we currently don't need that. So we're just going to do this. We're going to make a little roof. Now when you put these corners up, you see how the arrow is facing out. If you do that on both sides, one of them is going to be an exterior and one of them is going to be an interior, because this game is slightly dumb. So instead of that, we're going to go hit R. We're going to choose the opposite one. Or at least we're going to try. It takes me like 3 tries to do this because I am not great at directionality. There you go. And now you have 2 interior corners instead of exterior corners. That's an outside corner. Go over to the right, get the other direction. We have a left and a right. And now you have a little house. Ta-da! It is really dark in here. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to take all this stuff. We're going to take that. Hold X to pick up the fire. Forgot the charcoal, so we need to get the charcoal too. Now, it says the backpack is full, but because the kilograms are not all the way full, it means that we can still move around freely. When you're over encumbered, it makes you move a little bit slower. An important thing to remember, again, is things will catch fire in this game. Do not step in the fire. Do not get too close to the fire. Don't even think about the fire. Stay very far away from the fire. Have I burned down my house multiple times? Maybe. Put all your items together. Sometimes they'll only stack into 10 or 3 or something, but anyway. Move the fire inside your house. That way you have some light, but don't step on it. Don't get anywhere near it. Now, we haven't killed any animals yet, so we're going to need to do that. A lot of things in my inventory are spoiling, so we're just going to go through and eat one of each. It will restore the next items to full green. Even if something is slightly going bad, if you eat it, you'll still be fine. You're not going to get a stomachache or a bug or anything like that. There goes a camel! It's just a goat. So, you can still work in the dark, but it's going to be really, really dark. So the important thing is to try and make sure to stay close to where you built your house. Because if you get lost, that'll be bad. You also have a lovely compass, so what we're going to do is we're going to make sure the house is due south of us, and we are going to head due north. That way, when we need to find the house and we're freaking out, all we have to do is turn due south, and there's the house. This doesn't seem like a big deal for you guys, but you have no idea how easy it is to get lost in a game where the light is realistic. The sun just goes down, and it's gone, and you're like, shit, now I'm super lost. I apologize for swearing. I unfortunately swear like a sailor. A sailor, a soldier, take your tailor's back. I have looked up probably 10 or 15 different tutorials on this game, and the reason that I am making this one is because they are all terrible. They are only talking to you about the complicated aspects of this game. None of them talk about the simple aspects, and you can't get to the complicated aspects if you don't get the simple ones. I've been playing video games for over 20 years now, so I know what to look for and I know what to do. But people who are just starting out, people who are not big on video games, don't understand how to do these things automatically. And that's okay, but like, you need to also try to help those people start making the game. Start playing the game, I should say. It's already been made, obviously. Now, in some games, you can't really get any wood out of the stump of a tree, but in this one you can. It just takes you a little bit longer. It's kind of annoying. I don't like leaving the stumps, but I guess I have to. There we go. 6 years later. Again, some things will fly away and clip, and they'll just be gone forever, and there's nothing you can do about that. You just have to let it go and start over. For example, sometimes with your building materials, you'll go to put it in a certain place, it'll clip away from you, and you'll be like, oh, I can just go get it. It is under the ground, it is gone forever. Sometimes it's fine, and it's just like next door to you. Most of the time, it's gone forever. Okay. Now, we have reached an instance where my backpack is not all the way full, but I am over encumbered. That means that my item slots still have some inventory space. If I hit sort, it'll consolidate them a little. It does that automatically, though. But my weight, you see, is all the way over 100 kilograms, which is what I'm allowed to hold. So what you can do is you can drag and drop things in this area, and that will make sure that you're not over encumbered anymore. I'm not going to do this because I want to keep the charcoal, and I need to keep everything in my inventory. Make sure that my... See? Almost forgot my oxygen. Haha, almost died. And then we can walk very slowly. Because we're hungry. Okay. So because I don't need any more wood right now, I'm going to hit maximum amount, which is just 2. And we are going to make sure to put all my wood in a pile so that it no longer weighs down my inventory. I'm going to put it off to one side so it doesn't block my windows, but it's still easy to get to. Now, I'm going to go inside because it's really dark. Cannot see literally anything. Okay. Now, when you use your tools, they're going to slowly get worn down here in your hotbar. In order to repair them, you left click, and to repair it will tell you what you have to use. In order to repair stone tools, you need only 1 stone, which is very efficient. However, with the better tools that you make, you'll need iron or steel to repair them, but you don't need a lot of iron or a lot of steel. So that's the good part about this game as well. is it's very efficient with the materials that you use. Otherwise, it would be really impossible. Alright, so it's going to be dark for a while. We could go out and wander around. I would probably get lost, and that's okay. So, just wanted to make sure. Aha. Alright, so this symbol is a hungry symbol. This is a symbol of an animal that is hungry. I don't know what it is because I'm not close enough to it, but when it gets that little red exclamation point caution sign that you saw, that means it is either going to run away from you or run towards you. Now, most of the animals in this game are prey animals. Rabbits, goats, deer, stuff like that. They will run away from you and you don't have to worry about a thing. The animals that will run at you, follow you around, and kill you are as follows. Bees, a tyrannus, which is a horse mixed with a warthog for some reason, a moa, which is a giant land bird originating in New Zealand, and a bear. Bears are the worst. They will kill you instantaneously. Wolves, and boar. You will also run into animals like buffalo, kiwi, other things like that. Those animals will not chase you and they're not aggressive. But all the other animals that I previously listed will chase you and attack you. When you go into the water, you will have added status effects as well. If you go tab and you go to your inventory, you can always check what status effects are currently applicable. We drank tainted water, so we have dysentery. Great. Anyway, when you go into the water at night, or if you go too deep in the water when you're swimming, you will get cold, and these are the status effects that will affect you. Now, your health bar right now is really not very big. You have to be careful about all of your status effects. So try to stay out of the water, try to not be lost, like I'm doing, even though I'm wandering around in the dark like an idiot, and try to make sure that you keep all of your bars full at the bottom. First thing we have to prioritize in the morning is making sure we have enough oxite. So we have to go collect oxide. We have a lot of other crap in the inventory right now. I have nowhere to put it, and if I just drop it, it will fade away and be gone forever, which is not great. So we're just going to have to carry it around for now, and that's okay. This is an important thing to have, your basic bandage. When you get attacked by aggressive animals, because it will happen, you are going to need these to help you recover your health. You can also eat, but at this stage in the game, you don't have access to a lot of food, and it's not smart to eat all of your food trying to recover from being attacked by an animal. You can do it, but it's not smart. Now, you only need 10 fiber to make these, so you can make a ton if you want, because there's tons of fiber in the game, and it is constantly refreshing itself, replenishing. See, I made 10 bandages, and I still have all this fiber left, so very efficient. Whenever you have the opportunity to make something out of stuff you don't need, like fiber seeds, just make another seed bar. Why not? And then when you run out of food, you're going to be like, oh look, I have a seed bar. This sounds really dumb, but I'm telling you it happens. I'm telling you right now. You're going to be like, Mikey, you are so stupid. Why are you struggling with the basic things in this game? Because I'm human, and human people can be stupid sometimes, even when they're really, really smart. Now, your fire can hold in its inventory space a couple of different things. It can hold food, which you can cook. It can hold spoiled plants, if you're trying to collect those. For some reason, I can't remember why right now, but I'll remember later. And it can collect things that it does not have to cook or burn. If you put things in this inventory space, it will not be affected by the fire. But if you're going to cook something, like this, for example, and you put this here, the queue will be frozen. You need to remove something else to give the item space to cook. So if there's regular corn here, the queue will be frozen if this inventory slot is not empty. Just something to keep in mind. Now, when it comes to throwing items, this is probably not the most effective tool. So if you look at the throwing knife, it only has 25 to 28 projectile damage. When we move up in the ranks, we're going to buy a stone spear, and then we're going to get a bone spear. A bone spear is the best long-distance powerful weapon you can get, in my opinion. You get 200 to 228 damage with each bone spear that you throw at something. If you're in stealth mode and you get 2 times the damage when you're in stealth mode, and you throw a bone spear at something, it is almost guaranteed to die, unless it's a bear with a very high HP rate. Looks like we have a talent to spend. I completely did not see this. And it's a solo one, so now we can choose. What do we want? Do we want stamina, movement speed, health, or more melee damage? Now, at this point in the game, you need as much health and as much help as you can get. As you can see, this significantly increased our health bar. So that is really, really important to prioritize. I know you're going to want to move a lot faster, carry more stuff, you're going to need to punch more things, but if you don't have enough health, you won't survive long enough to do any of that when you come head-to-head with an aggressive animal. You can make the house bigger if you want to. At this stage in the game, it would be a waste of resources because you don't need that much space. But if you want to do that, who be me to stand in your way? Night takes a relatively long time to pass, by the way, so we might be here a while, but that's okay, because I can tell you about other stuff in the game. When you level up, you'll unlock things like stone building. Thatch building was another option that you saw. This is a wood building, obviously. Wood and stone are the only 2 things that you need to spend your time on. Thatch will fall apart immediately in a storm. Wood is really susceptible to falling damage and to damage from storms, so you can repair it and that'll be fine. I'll show you how to make a hammer to repair your house. You go to the tech tree when you've unlocked more blueprint points, and you unlock blueprint points every time you level up, like a normal game. You're going to want to go down here and make a wooden hammer. This is how you can repair the things in your home. You think that this is not relevant. There's no bad weather happening right now. When the bad weather happens, your house will get damaged. And if your house falls apart, you will have no shelter in the middle of a storm, and it will be bad for you, and your stuff will break. Everything you put down in your house has durability options. You cannot see it. Oh, you can see it. Look at that. If you go up to the campfire and you see a place to cook food and fend the cold away, that's great. Durability is 100%. If you do not have shelter, if aggressive animals come and knock over your walls, it will destroy everything you have in the house during a storm. Your things will get wind damage, they will get storm damage, they will slowly degrade, they'll break apart, and you'll never have them back again. Everything it's holding will drop on the ground, and you can pick that up and carry it away and be totally fine. But if you don't have shelter for things like your containers, your fire, your other benches, like the crafting bench that has inventory slots, those things are difficult to make in the beginning of the game. So if they get destroyed by a storm, they're going to be hard to be replaced. So try to make sure your things always have shelter, and make sure you always have a wooden hammer available. That way you can repair your walls and your house during the storm. Now, another important factor about this game is the tech tree. You are not going to be able to unlock 100% of the things in the tech tree. I know that's going to be really hard for you to understand, because in most games, you just click random stuff and eventually you have all the stuff in the tech tree. Icarus is the exception to that rule. In this game, if you do not have your points specifically designated in the areas you need them to be, you will run out of points and you will not be able to unlock things that you actually need to further the game. So you need to pick and choose very carefully what you need. For example, in the Tier 1 tech tree, you have all these things available to unlock. A drying rack, this will help your meat last longer. When you kill animals, you'll get raw meat. You put the raw meat on the drying rack, it'll last longer. You see the food in my hotbar is degrading really quickly, even though I'm not that hungry. You can even fill your water container out the window. I love this game. But in the tech tree, if you go through here and you get the drying rack, or you don't get the drying rack, you have to make sure for the rest of the game that if you don't purchase this with a blueprint point, your food will always go bad way faster. Now, this is not 100% effective, obviously. Your food will still degrade, But you won't have to worry about it nearly as much if it's dried. And it'll only dry meat and leather as far as I know. So that's going to be a priority for you. But it's totally, all these things are optional. If you don't choose to have them, you'll have to go without, and it's harder to go without than you would think it would be. When you have something like a sponge, for example, for your water, and you see a basic water purifier over here, this does not actually purify the water. And I know that seems weird, but it doesn't. What it does is it collects the rainwater, and it takes away most of the statistical likelihood that you'll get dysentery from drinking it. But if you fill up your sponge in one of these receptacles with water that's never touched a lake or a river, you will still possibly get dysentery. So in my opinion, I don't think this is worth very much unless you're nowhere near a body of water and it's an emergency. There are also things that you can put into the water to purify it. I believe that's a different tier, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it looks like it's a different tier. So if you go up to tier 2, water skin, you'll be able to carry more water with you. The sponge and the water skin hold almost the same amount of water, so really a toss-up there. Oxygen bladder, you can only fill this at the oxide dissolver. So if you don't have this, you don't need this. Does that make sense? The rain reservoir, this will hold a massive amount of water. It will still be considered tainted water. So even if you drink from it, you will probably still get dysentery. But if you're in the middle of nowhere and you don't have any water around, this is an excellent investment. You should always build and stay near a body of water. But if you don't, this is for that. And you'll go throughout all of these things. If you don't have a cow, you don't need a milk pail. If you don't have a massive amount of crops, like you can make little wooden crop plots later so you can grow stuff. You won't need an iron bucket. You can just use the water skin, or you can use the sponge to water your plants. Not a big deal. You can even use the watering can, but again, I think it's a waste unless you have tons of crops. All these things are great, and they look really great, and you get really excited to purchase them with your tech levels. And then you wake up and you're like, oh god, now I can't have the things that I really need. Like, whatever this is, or whatever this is. Sometimes you'll get an infection. This is the only thing that will save you, and you just have to, like, stay sick for a period of time. That's not fabulous. It's really, truly not fabulous, if I'm honest. In my first game, I was like, oh, I have to prioritize. I won't get a splint. Let me tell you right now. I am at level 51, and I did not have a splint unlocked. Mikey, you're very stupid. You're right, I am very stupid. And then I broke my leg. I stepped off the edge of a cliff that I had built my house on, and I was like, it's not that far. I'll be fine. I was not fine. I did, in fact, break my leg. It was not fabulous, because I didn't have this unlocked. I was slowed permanently until I built a splint. So I had to level up, get more blueprint points, unlock the splint, and guess what? By then, the game had glitched, and the bone break was permanent. So I consumed 4 splints, desperate to get rid of this permanent slowness that you get from a broken bone, and I was screwed, because I didn't unlock this at the very beginning of the game. Definitely prioritize these things, because if you don't, you will regret it. You need a suture kit for large wounds when you get attacked by a boar or a bear or something. It doesn't seem like, I'll be fine. You will not be fine. You will absolutely not be fine. I need you to listen to me. You will not be fine. Also, when we're looking at armor over here, cloth armor is almost completely useless. Don't even bother. Go straight to bone armor. You can collect a lot of bone in this game. You can repair it over time. I'm level 50 and I'm still wearing this armor because it is the most effective against melee damage, and you are going to get a lot of melee damage in this game. Definitely prioritize bone armor. All this other stuff, seed pouch, the sign, this you can barely even distinguish from other rocks in the game, so I think these things are completely useless. Unless you are in the end game and you have everything else unlocked, I would not bother with stuff you don't need. You need rope, obviously. But You don't need this. You don't need to transfigure wood into sticks, ever. There are way more sticks than there are wood in the entire game. Just go pick out some sticks. I know this sounds like this. What is this game even doing? What is the purpose of this game's weird tech tree if you don't even need these things? The point is to teach you how to prioritize, and that is a very important aspect of every survival game and every real survival experience as well. So just keep all that fun stuff in mind. Are we having a good time? Are we having a great time yet? I only have one piece of oxide left. I'm gonna die. I'm not gonna die. I'm just kidding. I am sick and tired of sitting around here, though, as I'm sure you're sick of sitting around watching me. You can also highlight things at night so you can see them. It's very helpful. You can highlight these. You see the outline of the plant in the highlight. These are also useless until you unlock medicinal stuff, so don't bother with these plants yet. But you might need them later. You might be smarter than me. Alright, our next priority is to level up. So I am gonna try really hard to get some resources in the dark so we don't have to wait for the sun to come up. Oh, great! I waited too long and now there's winds coming. It's okay though. It'll be fine. It's fine. In case you're wondering, I have spent over 60 hours in this game so far. I know people have spent more time in different games, blah blah blah, with Icarus. This game is very basic. The problem is that no one ever takes the time to explain it to you, so if you don't know what to do, you're kind of scrambling, and that's not fantastic. The good news is that even if it's really dark, when you see that little symbol that says, you can break the rock here, it means that you could probably break the rock there if you could reach it. So that's helpful. It's a completely dark game. I love it. Now, when you first land on the planet for your very first mission, they're going to ask you to do stuff like create a cloth rag. And basically that means that you have to prioritize unlocking it with your blueprint points. Pardon me. Oh my god, I can't see anything. So dark in this game. Anyway, they're going to ask you to make sure you unlock that. And this one particularly, I've already gone through all that. You can't really start over from zero once you've gone through the quote-unquote tutorial section of the game, so I'm just going to have to tell you what they were doing there. But every time your oxygen gets low in the tutorial section of the game, Sol, that voice that we heard earlier, he'll say, well, you're going to need to collect some oxide. And that just means get the blue rock and make sure that you consume blue rock so that you can breathe. He's going to also remind you to eat and drink food. Eat and drink food. Eat and drink water. Because if you don't, you die. Now, the fun part about this game, there's so many fun parts about this game, is that when you die, you get placed in a random location. Unless you have a bedroll. You have to set a spawn point by creating a bedroll or building a bed. Sorry, couldn't see the door there. So freaking dark! Anyway, when you have a bedroll, you can place it anywhere in the home, and then you can sleep through the night, and you won't have to do what I'm doing, which is sit around and wait for the daylight. I was trying to prioritize explaining things rather than prioritize survival, but that's what happens when you make a tutorial for other people. And it's okay, because you need to know all this information I'm telling you anyway if you want to enjoy this game at all. So once you get the sleep roll, you're going to put it down on the ground, and then it's going to say, press Y if you want to set this as your spawn point. And you'll press and hold Y, and then it'll be like, yay, your spawn point is set. This is the only chance you have to be reincarnated in the correct place when you die. Otherwise, when you get reincarnated, they're going to throw your body in a new shuttle. You're going to throw the shuttle down on the ground somewhere, and you're going to have no idea where you are. So, one good thing is that if you press M, or even if you tab over from your inventory to your map, you have a map of the area. Now, all this stuff is unlocked because I have already been to all of these places. When you first start this game, this is all you're gonna get. This is it. From the point where your ship is to where you walked, that's all you're gonna get. Thankfully, the more you play the game, the other missions you do, you'll pop around to these places and you'll walk around. I got dropped over here in this game, and I walked over here and got killed 6 million times by wolves. When I say 6 million, I respawned probably 6 or 7 times. And I lost my fancy backpack in the middle of the Arctic because there's no resources, no protection, and no way to build protection. Don't know what the point of the Arctic is, in my personal opinion. But that's just frickin' me. That's just me. And the good news is the sun is coming up, so we don't have to sit here forever. God, it's been forever, hasn't it? I need oxide! You can find resources at the bottom of the lakes and ponds as well, like rocks and sticks and stuff, but it's just going to be not nearly as often. They're a lot more prevalent on the shore of the lakes and the rivers, or just in the forest. That aluminum deposit. Basically, later on in the game, for the deposits of things, you're going to be able to build mining equipment, and biofuel is something that you can create out of spoiled meat, tree sap, and fiber. Tree sap, you have to use a mortar and pestle to grind down a ridiculous amount of sticks and wood to get, so that's ridiculous. And then you can make biofuel, and you use biofuel to power the mining equipment, and then you basically have an infinite amount of whatever you find. So, in this example, if we can eventually live long enough to make the mining equipment, we can have an infinite amount of aluminum right here. Okay. It's starting to get light out and I'm impatient, so let's go. Hey, we can see again. Anyway, so now we need to kill stuff. We see that one animal is hungry, so it has the hungry meter above it. That is probably a pronghorn or a chamois, and they're very easy to kill. If you can find them, where did it go? Where did it go? It's right here. I love this game. Sometimes things will just disappear, and sometimes they'll just turn around and walk away, and they walk at a totally normal speed, but you'll never see it again. You'll just never see it again. That was ridiculous. Anyway, look on the map. Zoom out. Zoom back in. This is where my house is, at the north end of this lake. Remember that. Remember it for me, because I'm going to forget. We need to go hunting. Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, and other people who don't identify with things that make any sense to me, but that's okay, because we still love you, because we're all fam in the plurb. In the plurb, we all fam. Okay. Prioritize oxide. Almost forgot the thing I told you to do. I never said that I was smart. I never claimed to be smart. I'll tell you what, though. This game is really beautiful. If it was a little bit easier to play, I would say that I would love to live here, but this game is not easy to play. There's no tutorial. Mikey's tutorial is what you get. That's not, again, not fabulous. Yay! We leveled up! When you're gonna go into your tabs, and you're gonna try to tech tree and level up and stuff, never do that out in the open. Do it in your house. Otherwise, a bear will come up behind you and ruin your life. Now, some animals don't spawn until later when you're strong enough to resist an attack from them. But bear are immediate, and they're very strong, and they're very fast. And just being within sight range of them is incredibly dangerous. So again, turn around and run a mile in the other direction, and you might not die. But if they spot you, these aggressive animals in this game will chase you to the ends of the earth to kill you. So be very, very careful with everything that you need to avoid. I almost forgot what I was talking about there for a second. I apologize. Okay. So we need to kill stuff. How do you kill stuff? You have to find things to kill. How do you find things to kill? You have to use your eyes. I know that sounds dumb, but in some games it will tell you what you need to do. And in this game it will not. Now, what I just heard is a wolf howl, which means that in the direction I'm facing, a wolf has already spawned and is ripe for the stabbing. Now, wolves can be difficult to kill in the early game, but after you get a certain level, you're going to be fine. The trick is finding it. And then after you reach a certain level, you can choose an option in your tech tree that highlights the animals nearby, shows you their hunger bar, or their health bar rather, and then you can spot them from long distances. But until then, you are just going to have to use your little human eyeballs. And in the early dawn of the morning, it is hard to see anything. Oh god. When you hear a horse neighing, that is a Tyrannus. That is a mixture between a warthog and a horse, like I mentioned before. They are very aggressive. They will follow you to the ends of the earth and stomp you to death. There we go. A little camwa. When you hear a goat, that's good news. This is salt. You will need salt to preserve your food at a later point in the game. Hold down the stealth button, get your throwing thing ready. It'll even tell you what level the animal is. It's really hard to kill things if you don't have the correct tools. There we go. Let's go. Until we unlock bone spears, I'm not going to be having a good time. Just FYI. Because I'm really good at hunting and killing stuff, but only with bone spears. I pretty much maxed out my stats on bone spears. Everything else I was like, I'm not going to waste my time with this. And then I just didn't. Was that ridiculous? Yes. Rabbits are really hard to sneak up on, by the way. And they move really fast. And they have a very small hitbox. So unless you can, like, corner it really good and manage to not... Yeah, not possible for me right now. And manage to not chase it off or let it see you, you're pretty much screwed when it comes to animals. Oh, rabbits especially. So other things are easier to catch, but not rabbits. We got some sulfur, got some more oxite. We're not really running into a lot of animals right now. Anyway. So I went and I skinned that animal and I got 1 piece of raw meat, 4 pieces of fur, 15 pieces of leather. All these things will be very important for you. We need 20 of these to make the bedroll. And we already have enough leather because you only need 10. So we're doing pretty good so far. Ooh, something else to kill and it's coming right at us. Hold down the button and release. Miss. Hold down the button, aim a little bit higher, release. There you go. And if you need to, stab it with your knife. Stab it a whole bunch, and eventually it'll die. But see? Even me, who was prepared for that, still needs a bandage to recover from the damage I got from a normal animal that I run into all the time. Because when you're low level like this, everything is a challenge. You skin an animal, take everything, and then you need to use a pickaxe to get the additional bone from the skeleton. This is kind of graphic, so sorry about that, but it's just the game. Anyway, the sun has come out, we can see things, we have oxite. Now, we don't have a lot of fur, and animals don't really give a lot of fur, so we have to kill a lot of animals. I'm a big animal lover. That was really hard for me to get used to, but it's a video game, so I just had to get used to it. I'm a survival buff anyway. I love survival stuff like this, so I really love this game, but I hate killing so many animals. I'm like, I really don't need to do that IRL, but whatever. Okay, where's my house? There's my house. You show me pointing that way. That means I have to turn right. There. A little too far, but I'm almost aimed at the right place. The map will show what direction you're pointing, and that's the only way I can get around anywhere at all. I am very bad with directions. I think they call it, like, spatial differentiation, when you are bad at, adjusting your body to the space around you, or remembering the direction you were walking in previously. I am what they call a silly goose, so it is very easy for me to forget things. Always be prepared. Always be prepared. He can get away from me because he walks really, really fast. But can you get away from me if you're not walking really fast? No! Get back! Sometimes you just have to bite it. Now, when you throw things, they're usually gone forever. Sometimes you can recover them. Especially with a spear, you can recover them easily. Oh, there's my house over there. But if you can't find it, it's gone forever. You just have to make more. It's not a lovely scenario, but it's just the reality of Icarus. Some things, they'll just disappear into the ground because the ground eats them. Because that's the way the game is. Okay, remember what I told you? We are safe at home. Now we can look at the tech tree again. Never do this out in the open, you will die. And make sure that you're not going to starve or die of dehydration in the time it takes you to choose what you're doing next. Next we need a wooden hammer to repair the damage from storms. Like we talked about, you need the wooden rag torch so you can see at night and you don't have to get lost like me because I'm ridiculous. Next priority definitely has to be a suture kit and a splint. Because when you get injured in this game, if you don't have the basic necessities to survive, you will not survive. And you will die and lose all your stuff and have to start over and it stinks. Okay. Let's see if we have enough to make the oxidizer. Yes, we do. Beautiful. This will be created in the queue. It'll pop into my hotbar because it loves me. Put it in a random place, and then it'll say, press F to add oxide. Put in all the oxide. Put it all in there. Now, this thing also has inventory slots, as far as I remember. Actually, you know, it might not. Anyway, most of the things that you build will have inventory slots, so you can store stuff there. That's very helpful. Okay. Store some of the stone outside. Carry it around with me. Always make sure your door is closed, also, because things will just walk into your house and attack you, or just walk into your house and stay there. And when they try to run away, they'll, like, damage your things trying to get away, because they're stupid. And that's exactly how it is in real life. The oxidizer will take a while. Up in the upper right-hand corner of the oxidizer bar, you will see the liter sign, and it is filling up. It is halfway filled with oxygen. It doesn't give you a lot, but it is a lot more efficient to use this device than it is to just eat oxide, which is what you're doing when you put it in your slot here. Always leave it in this slot, though, just in case. Now, I need spoiled meat in order to make a splint. I know that doesn't make any sense. However, when you make a splint... Oh my god. Oh, look at that. Anyway, when you get a more advanced splint, you'll have to use spoiled meat to make it. Apparently, because I never unlocked it in my other game, because I'm stupid. And I am very stupid, I will admit this. I didn't have any spoiled meat, so it took me forever to try to... Anyway, don't worry about me. I'm ridiculous. But now we have bandages, a suture kit for deep wounds, and a splint. I have at least 2 suture kits, at least 10 bandages, typically. And then you only need 1 splint. It's very rare that you will break a bone, but it will happen and you will suffer. Now we can make a torch, and we can see at night, and we don't have to sit there in the middle of the night for the whole time, and it won't suck. Oh, man. Can you tell I'm suffering? It's really hard starting over. No! I lied. Apparently it is consuming things that I put in here. Okay, well, don't listen to me, is the next rule of thumb. Anyway. We're not going to need charcoal for a while. Sorry about that, guys. I had never done that before because I assumed it would not, but it lied to me. We're going to cook this, and we're going to cook this, since apparently we don't need spoiled meat for a splint, because I suffer constantly, and the world is against me. Sorry, guys. Anyways. Woo! Alright, the oxide thing is all the way filled. It will slowly decrease over time, so you need to keep oxide in it, and when your oxygen is really low is when I recommend that you breathe it in. Now, We need to go find more oxite, and we need to go kill more stuff so we can have more fur. So let's go. We're gonna do this thing, where we stay on the edge of the lake so Mikey doesn't get lost. Because I am very getting lost prone. It's not fabulous. Not fabulous. Okay. There's a hunger icon. Let's get up close and see what Let's see what it is. It's a rabbit. There's no way I'm going to be able to catch that thing with this knife without absolutely humiliating myself in front of all of my viewers. So we're going to ignore that for now. I apologize if it seems as though I am talking a lot and you're getting very overwhelmed and not seeing a lot of things. And it's because there's a lot to this game that no one explains to you. This is a silica stone. You will use this to make things like glassware and concrete, but you do not need it this early in the game. You just leave it alone. Aha. I can spot a blue rock anywhere. So let's have some fun. Now you have all your priorities, you know all the things that you can make, you know that your blueprint points are limited and you cannot unlock everything in your tree, at least not for a very, very long time. So you have to prioritize your tech tree, you have to collect a lot of stuff, make sure that you have things in your hotbar that will help you, including bandages, tools, and food. Make sure that you get a sponge from the bottom of the lake so that you can drink water anywhere you travel to. Make sure you have throwing knives and you have spears as well as a stone knife. You know how to repair your tools, which is vital. As you unlock more things in the game, you'll be able to unlock things like crates, and then you'll be able to unlock wooden cupboards. I think the next priority should be that I show you I definitely need to show you caves, and then you should be good to go. So let's prioritize finding a cave. Alright. So, when you are looking for a cave, it is going to be in a mountain or a very large hill. This is a Tyrannus. This is a horse, basically. It will act like a horse, it will look really weird, and that's fine. They're not easy to kill this early in the game, so not fabulous to experience having to stab a horse for a long period of time. Not fabulous. I do love horses. Anyway. This is a Tyrannus. When you're looking for caves, they will be in the mountains or in a very steep cliffside, so you'll see a large amount of rock and you'll know for a fact that a mountain is nearby. When you hear panting, that is a wolf in the nearby vicinity. Panting or howling will indicate a wolf. There we go! Forget that sometimes you have to aim a little bit higher when your weapon is a little bit shorter. So I'm getting better at this, but still not fabulous. Every single thing you kill, you should harvest 100% of it. I did not emphasize that enough. That is the sound of a Tyrannus locating me and coming to stab me with its entire body. Okay, thankfully that went down easy. This is a Tyrannus baby horse. This will officially be something that you are taming. When you tame a little creature, you will have to feed it and keep it safe until it grows big enough for you to... You can either put things in its inventory space that it can carry for you. Oh my god, there's two! Yeah, I got two! Or you can just use them to stay put and they'll defend your house. So, these two animals, they are not aggressive as children. You don't have to kill them. I would not recommend it. The other baby animals that you run into, such as baby deer, baby moa, things like that, baby buffalo, they are not aggressive enough to help you protect your territory. So I would highly recommend to focus your efforts on getting a baby horse. You do have to constantly feed them food and water for the rest of their lives once you tame them, so keep that in mind. but it's really not as complicated as it seems. Now, when you start taming them, you have to press F to start taming them, and then they will follow you wherever you go. And aggressive animals will attack you. They will not attack the baby animals that you have walking around with you. That means that you can care for them without having to worry about animals attacking them. Anyway, we are looking for a cave. We are going to try to tame both of these baby horses, and there's a wolf right here. So I'm going to practice my aim again. It's important that every aggressive creature you see that is aimed in a direction you cannot avoid, you kill. Because if it sees you, it will come up behind you and it will kill you, and you won't even have time to blink before it's over. So I know it sucks, but you have to kill a lot of stuff all the time, and you have to be on high alert. Okay. You're fine, shut up. They will neigh and make other noises, but they're totally fine. You don't have to do anything besides feed them, lead them, and make sure they're safe. And making sure they're safe is pretty irrelevant. They don't get damaged by storms, and animals won't attack them until they're adults. So they're basically totally safe until they grow up. When they grow up, adult animals will attack them if they're near your house and stuff. So that's something to keep in mind. If you tame a moa moa, which is that big bird, no problem. Or if you tame a baby buffalo or something, they will probably not be defensive enough to protect themselves. So it's important that you protect them. But these things are killers. They are born killers. Look at them tusks. They will absolutely raw you and not even feel bad about it afterwards. Okay. So this is typically an example of what the entrance to a cave looks like. Most of the time there will just be a generic open hole, which I know sounds very funny, but in this instance it is a rock wall that you can chip away at. The stone that you cannot chip away at, you will not see the pickaxe option, but you will see a pickaxe option when there's a cave you can just dig into. You can see exactly the shape the pickaxe makes. Look at how perfectly diamond shaped that is. And then you can break through to the other side. Now, when you make a wood rag, it will automatically go into your left-hand part of your hotbar. And when you press L, it will turn it on, and now you can see in dark areas. You will need a torch, a rag, a lantern, or something before you go into a cave, because if you're just walking around blind, you are going to get nerfed by what is in the cave. Which is the only aggressive alien that you have to worry about at this stage. Get everything out of your way, because if you don't, you're going to get stuck on it. This sounds really stupid because it is. But that's just the way things work, so you just have to do it. Okay. A couple things to remember when you're going into a cave. It will affect your lung capacity, and it will affect your stats as well. So when you go into a cave, see, even the smallest bit of stone will get in your frickin' way. Yeah, I know. Very loud. Okay. When you go into a cave, you will get the following modifier. Underground. This means that your health regenerates slower, you don't contain as much, you don't get as thirsty, and your stamina is less. So that means everything you go to do will be more difficult. And that's okay. And these little babies will follow you into the cave. So, the thing you have to watch out for, first and foremost, you need a weapon when you get into a cave for the first time. Always have your torch ready, always have a weapon. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let these guys wander around here, because if they follow me, they'll probably get nerfed by whatever is actually in this cave. Where is it? There it is. Okay. And bees, too? God, I thought you loved me. That's really hard to avoid. This is a cave worm. That is a beehive. I have been poisoned, and now I have to stab these bees. Get stabbed! They die right away, but they continue spawning from the beehive, which is not fabulous. I'm gonna go back for my knives, which I should not be doing. But it's okay. We need to make sure that we kill these bees. Otherwise you will die. Oh, there's 2 swarms of them. I might die. Oh, shit. Okay. Yep, I might die. Okay, we have to get the fuck out of this cave right now. These will follow you to the ends of the earth. So to get your space from them, get ready to kill them. They can't go through walls, though, and they're too stupid to use the door you just made. So just stay outside until you're healthy again. Eat all the food you have at your disposal, stay outside. The bees will not attack your baby animals. You're gonna be okay, probably. I know, they're like, don't leave us behind, but don't let them fool you. They're totally okay. And don't waste your torch if you don't have to. Just stand outside, wait until your health bar rejuvenates, you'll be okay. Typically, bees don't spawn that close to the entrance. Typically, they're all the way in the end, and there's an opening at the back of every single cave out to the ceiling. And you can see through the ceiling to the sky. That's typically where the beehive is located. But unfortunately, this game hates me, so it wanted to put it near the entrance. And I'm level fucking 3 or something. Anyways. The bees seem to have fucked off. Okay. You're fine. Relax. Okay. Now that the bees are no longer attacking me, and this cave is a safe place for shelter, we are going to look at my tech tree here. First of all, we're going to go in here. We need health. Okay. Always make sure to increase your base health. You are gonna struggle otherwise. I'm a big struggler, obviously, as you can tell. We'll be able to make more of that later. Anyway. Unlocking armor is your next priority. I already have... Actually, I don't have a helmet on, so I'll need these 2 next. Okay, let's see. And I can actually craft some of these. When you craft your armor, it will automatically equip. So just do them one at a time, because you'll run out of materials, probably. Yep. We need more bone. That's okay. Make sure to make it with a hammer, so you can repair your house the next time there's a storm. And it'll just pop into your hotbar. You can just put it to the side for now. Keep all of your weapons and all of your tools repaired, so always keep stone with you. These will go bad in my inventory. That's okay. There's tons of food in this game. It's not the end of the world. If you let things spoil, you'll be okay. Anyway. My health is slightly recovering. The bees should not try to kill me right here, so I'm going to show you. This is ore. This is an iron ore. You will have to smelt this in a smelter. If you do not have a furnace or a smelter, do not bother to gather this because you don't have anywhere to put it, and it'll disappear when you put it down. Does that make sense? Okay. For example, we are going to get 3 pieces of iron ore. We're going to drop them on the ground. Their rate of decay is like this. It will slowly decay until they disappear. This ore does not regenerate. There is a limited amount of ore in the game, unless you can find that aluminum fisher, like I showed you, that we don't need until later, and you can build your mining equipment and have an infinite amount of it. If you can't find an infinite amount of iron, copper, aluminum, titanium, platinum, then you have to make sure to use your resources wisely. And if you have nowhere to put this, it's going to disappear in a couple minutes, and it's going to be gone forever, and you're going to hate yourself for wasting resources. Okay? Okay. Good talk. This is copper. Iron, which looks like this. If you go slightly further into the cave, you'll see some iron up on the wall. This is titanium. You can only break this with a steel pickaxe. You will just damage it otherwise, so don't even bother. And you don't need titanium until later anyways. There's the other one. I was like, where's my other baby? This is also titanium. You don't need this till later. Gold you don't need until later. Hopefully the bees won't kill me if I'm just wandering around. You need to come with me because I don't trust you. This is an iron deposit. Great news. You will now officially never run out of iron. What? What the? Oh, there's another one. Oh, God. Let's go. Going over here. Okay. So, your baby animals can accidentally be hurt by stupid shit aimed your way, like these stupid alien worms, which we really didn't even talk about. I apologize for that. These alien worms are in every single cave. There are typically at least 2 of them. If you can get close enough, just use your knife to kill them, because it will take way longer if you have to throw shit at them. Again, the only efficient way to kill stuff is with a bone spear. Or a gun, but it takes a long time to make a gun. Alright. So you got more gold. Another frickin' worm. Listen. There you go. Killed it before it even attacked me. So now I don't have the poisoning thing, which is great. So I have to watch out for my frickin' health. Anyways. More gold. This up here is aluminum. It's orange. I don't know why it looks like that. It probably does in real life. I've just never seen raw aluminum. I don't know if you have, but I never have. Now there's going to be deposits of ore all over this cave. And they are going to stay here and not change or move or go absolutely anywhere until you harvest them, and then they'll be gone forever. You can walk up here. You can get to more iron, more aluminum. Do not get close to the bees. You will regret it. You will sustain fall damage in this game. That is another thing I forgot to mention. You do have this iron deposit, which will be great for later. But in this game, if you are not careful, you will die from sustaining fall damage. This iron ore is already degraded almost to nothing, so that'll be a little bit of a waste, but it's okay. Because I don't plan on staying in this game forever. Okay. So, if you fall from a certain height, you will hurt your ankle. If you fall from a slightly higher height, you will hurt your ankle, and a large part of your health bar will disappear. If you fall from really, really high up, all of that will happen. You will probably die, and you will break a bone, which means that when your body comes back, or you respawn at your bedroll, you will have a broken bone that you can only heal with this. This is a splint in my hotbar, okay? You have to consume the splint to heal your leg. I'm currently completely out of food, but it's okay. Because I'll be fine for a little while. Would you shut up? You're very loud. You're both very loud. You can also put these guys in your house. Just as long as they don't walk into the fire, which is not great. Okay. Here I am relative to my house. I need to go northwest to get home, so I will go this direction. Fall damage is a big thing in this game. Be very careful. You can get items that you buy in the workshop when you mine exotics. I think I talked about that earlier. Basically, is when you find this purple rock. It's called exotics. You will find it in the caves, just like the one we were just in. You have to be able to build certain technology called an orbital contact device and stuff in order to put the exotics in that container and send it back to the station you came from. If you don't do that, when you leave the game, you will leave the exotics behind, and this is not fabulous because you need them to buy useful items from the workshop for the next time you want to load into the game. Whatever you buy in the workshop, it cannot be used in the current game you got the exotics in, because you've already deployed your character. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, I don't really like it, but that's the way the game works. So if you mine a lot of exotics, you send a lot back, you have like 100,000 of them or whatever, and you're like, I can't wait to exchange these for money so that I can use the items in my current game. You're not going to be able to do that. You cannot do that, unfortunately. If you want your stuff, you have to take your character, and you have to spawn into a new game, and you have to tell it you're bringing things with you when you go back. You have to drag and drop them into your inventory box and get them out of your ship when you land. See, this is that aluminum deposit. Alright. These guys will have no trouble following you back. If you go through the water, they will swim very slowly, but you will also swim very slowly. They walk really fast, and they will clip up behind you if they get too far away. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put these 2 little guys in this house, if they will follow me in here. Yay! You can stack all this crap on top of each other. Just make sure you leave enough space for things to cook and go bad and stuff. We need more space for cooked food, so we're getting rid of that. Okay. Yeah, sometimes you can't get far enough to get them to follow you, so what you have to do is you have to go out really far, and then you have to go in really far. And hopefully, like this, you just close the door and make sure the door stays closed. And then they will stay in this room. And they will not be able to get out of the windows, they can only get out of the door. But it's not smart to leave a fire on with animals in the house. So these things will probably all go bad, and that's okay because I can get other food. That was a lot. Of course, if you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, you can leave them underneath this video. I'm going to try my best to keep up with everything. You know me, I'm ridiculous. You have already seen me play this game. I am a ridiculous person, so I'm going to try my best. But this is my first tutorial ever of all time, so welcome to Mikey's haphazard playthroughs. So now that you have located caves, you know how to repair everything, find all of your food, this is pretty much the sufficient information you need to begin the game. Anything further and more complicated, if you continue to play, unlock items, build items, collect materials, you will eventually get really good at it, and you won't need a tutorial anymore. The main takeaway from this is that you need shelter, you need food, you need things like bandages, suture kits and splints, you need a throwing weapon, you need a stone knife immediately, as well as an axe and a pickaxe. First things you need to unlock are going to be those things. This is your initial, I'm at level 4. By level 4, you should have all of these things. If you don't, you will be in big trouble when bad stuff happens to you. The next time I go up a level, I'm going to unlock the rest of the armor. And then I'm going to go back here, make sure that I get rope, because you will need rope later in the game. We're going to look for the bone spear. I'm going to unlock that as well. And I'm going to unlock a small wooden crate the next time I can, as well as a drying rack. Fire pit you don't really need. Wooden spear, kind of useless. A shovel is only if you want to make crop plots so that you can grow things. And a fire whacker, as long as you don't set yourself and your house on fire, you probably won't need these. But if you're very accident prone, you should make a fire whacker right away. But this is your level 4 loadout. Things will only get more difficult as you are up in level, like animals will get stronger. It's easy to level up if you continue to hunt and practice and gather resources and build things, so that's the good news. And when these horses get big enough, you'll get options to take care of them, like if you press and hold F over a grown Tyrannus that you have already tamed, that creature will be able to hold some cargo for you. They will be able to either wander, follow you around, or stay. They can even lie down. If you want to make them really comfortable as babies, you can build a ranching station and you can build a little animal bed for them, and they'll be able to sleep. They'll have that indication that they are sleepy until then. See that one, that frowny face on the end? It means that they're really sleepy. They're going to be okay, and they will still grow up. But you need to feed them, and you need to make sure they're warm enough, and you need to make sure that you eventually build them an animal bed, and that'll make them really comfy cozy, and it'll make the taming process go by a lot quicker. They are totally harmless until then. All baby animals are totally harmless. If you don't have to kill any, don't bother. It's not going to help you. The aggressive creatures in this game, they can only see you if they are looking at you. You can avoid them by going behind them. Do not go within, I want to say, 10 feet of any aggressive animals unless you are willing to fight them off and kill them. If you can't do that, avoid them, or else you will have a very bad time. Maximize your health. Make sure all of your things are filled all the way. I'll show you what it looks like to breathe in from an oxidizer. No, you can't go outside, young man. You have to stay in this house. Put more oxide in it. It'll fill all the way to the top again, and then you can breathe it in the next time you come back. You need to refill your sponge. Just go up to the lake and press F. Drink from it. Press F again. The water's tainted no matter what you do. If you get dysentery, you'll be fine. Keep the door closed. Keep the kids inside until they grow up, and then you can walk them right out, and they'll be fine. Okay, so those are all the important aspects. Those alien worms, they spit poison, and you'll need poison paste, anti-venom, things like that in order to survive them. But if you have enough health, like I just put all my stats into health, that means you don't need that stuff, and you'll probably recover fine if you kill them quickly and you avoid getting hit as often. You can get shields and stuff. I don't find those to be particularly helpful, but they may be helpful to you. Make sure that you gather enough fur that you can make. You need 40. He's have to continue killing stuff. To make a bedroll, because the bedroll is where you get your spawn point. Otherwise, you are going to have a difficult time, a very difficult time, finding your house again when you respawn. It won't put you that far away, but it will still be hard to find because everything looks the same. If you if you have better recognition software than I do in my brain, you'll probably be okay. But I get lost all the time. I'm always getting lost. Another stat to maximize is gotta be stealth. As you can see, I am not very stealthy right now. Even if I'm crouching in stealth mode, they can still see me from a very far distance away. So when you maximize stealth, things get a lot easier. Like, these things would not be running away if my stealth was better. I would just be able to walk right up to them and stab them and they would die. So that's important. Alright, let me show you how to use the wooden hammer as well. When you equip this in your hotbar, you just roll over, and then it'll give you some options. You can upgrade your building pieces, which you have to unlock, of course. You can repair things. You have to press and hold until the entire circle is filled, and it will repair it. Its durability on every single piece of your house will be different. The door, the frame of the door, the window frame, the roof, the other sections of the roof, the other window frames, even the floor. Everything has different durability. During a storm, when things get damaged, you will hear it and you will see it. You will see 20 damage, 25 damage, 20 damage. It will show up in midair around the wall. That's when you need the wooden hammer to repair it. You'll eventually be able to make better hammers, but this is pretty much what you're going to be stuck with for a while. Always repair your house. Make sure wherever you build your house, it is not within tree falling distance. If this tree were to fall, it could probably fall on my house, but it's unlikely. If it falls, it's likely going to fall in another direction. Probably not going to fall towards my house. That's definitely something to keep in mind. Build your house away from the sides of mountains, and build your house away from trees that can fall on it. Fall damage is a big thing in this game. If you let a tree fall on your house, it'll absolutely wreck it, and it'll be a lot harder to repair, and it'll take a lot longer. So, keep all your stuff inside a shelter, maximize your health, make sure that when you go into caves, you're aware of the status changes, always carry a sponge and water with you, make sure to always collect food and water, and keep cooked food and water on you, unlock the drying rack, get dried meats, that way they'll last longer. Trying to think of anything else because this game can be really complicated. A lot of the status effects that you get will affect you for long periods of time. And by long periods of time, I mean more than 60 seconds. A status effect, in my opinion, is no problem to deal with if it's under 60 seconds. But in this game, I have dysentery for 2 minutes currently. And, oh, that's the sound of a bear. We do not fuck with that. Nope, bye-bye. When you hear a bear grunt, you run the other direction, where you hide. So you are not going to have a good time when you run into a bear. Oh, God. Oh, yeah, that's another thing I wanted to mention. Whatever direction you are facing, when you hear an animal call, likely, in that direction, that is where the animal will spawn. If you continue walking in a straight line, you will eventually run into that animal. Sometimes they will spawn in your general vicinity. I would say within 100 meters of you is where they will spawn. And if you stand still for long periods of time, more animals will spawn in your area. It will not be excessive, and it will not be none. It should be somewhere in the normal range of things that spawn. If you want to build a fence, things will spawn inside your fence. Things will never spawn where you have a floor. So this wooden floor is going to prevent animals from spawning in my house. Which seems crazy. But if you build a house and you don't have a floor, you're not going to have a good time because stuff will try to spawn in your house. But yeah, whatever direction you're facing, when you hear an animal call, likely that will be the direction the animal will be in. So if you hear a bear sound, if you hear a wild boar, if you hear a horse neigh, or if you hear a moa, they're really distinctive. You'll hear this really loud bird sound and you'll be like, oh my god, sounds like a dinosaur. That's a moa. All you have to do is turn one direction or the other and give it at least, I want to say, 10 feet or 50 feet of berth around it. So if it's in the center of the circle, give it 50 feet all the way around the diameter of the circle. That way it will not recognize you. Your wood rag won't last forever. Make sure you always have the materials to make a second one, because as long as you have the materials to make it, the second you make it, it'll pop right back into this empty inventory slot when the first one runs out. That's another good thing about this game. Stuff will automatically pop into your inventory when you make it, like your armor. And these things will pop into your hotbar, because they know you probably need them immediately, and you're ridiculous. If you have a previous item in your hotbar, and you make new items like this, and there's no space here, they'll just go in your inventory. If you can't find something you made, it's probably mixed in here with your other crap. Happens to me all the time. You'll get really ominous music at night, but things don't come up and attack you in the middle of the night. You just have to make sure that you keep out of sight of dangerous animals. Even in your shelter, you have to stay out of sight of dangerous animals, and you'll be fine all night, even if you don't have a bedroll. You're going to be okay. The music will get really spooky at night, and that's something you don't have to worry about. You're going to be okay. I'm out of food, but that's alright. I'm almost done with this tutorial. This house can and will burn down. If you stand on your lit fire, and then you get off your lit fire, and you are on fire, it will give you a modifier that says you're on fire, okay? First thing you need to do is get in the water, put the fire out. However, if you stand on this wooden floor when you are on fire, it will burn down your house. It will destroy everything in your house. Unless you have a fire whacker and you work really, really fast, it will destroy everything you have made. That's a very normal survival game thing. Don't light your house on fire. Happens to me sometimes. I'm not going to say often, because that would be a lie. But it happens sometimes. My little animals are hungry. They'll be okay. It'll just take longer to tame them. But the taming process is typically automatic. As long as you keep them around you, they'll be tamed in a normal period of time. Feeding them is way more effective, though, so you should do that for sure. Sometimes shit will just walk up to your house, and you'll be like, hey dude, why are you outside my house? And then they'll freak out and run away. So funny. Alright. Your house will only get attacked if an aggressive animal sees you, either in the house, outside the house, and you run inside and shut the door. That is the only time anything will attack your house, besides a storm. When you get higher up in level and you unlock more things in Tier 1 and Tier 2, then you'll be able to get devices that scan for exotics. You'll be able to get devices that will map the area around you. These devices will attract animal life, and it'll tell you in the description, this will attract wildlife. Be careful. What that means is that when you frickin' set it up, bears and wild boar and shit are gonna come pouring out of the woods towards you. It's typically only 1 or 2 at a time, but it can be excessive. What the hell is he doing? Animals in this game are low-key really stupid, but that's okay, because I am too. Anyways. You can't throw things out the window effectively, so I wouldn't recommend it. Because when you put something over your head and you release it... Oh, well, it works with these, but most of the time it just gets stuck in the ceiling. And you're like, oh, well, that didn't help. Okay. So, as long as you're safe in your house, no aggressive animals can see you, you are totally fine. If there is an aggressive animal in the area, like within, I want to say, 100 meters of your house, you need to kill it, because it will follow you to the ends of the earth, destroy your whole house trying to get to you. So just kill it. Animals that are not aggressive, you don't need to kill them. Buffalo will give you a lot of fur. Bear will give you a lot of fur and bone. Pretty much everything else has a nominal amount of fur and bone and is really stupid and will run away from you. So you need to get used to being stealthy, get really good at knife throwing, always carry rocks to repair your tools, always carry extra stuff to make a torch, and bandages and suture kits and a splint, a wooden hammer to repair your stuff, food, and water. At the end of the day, this is still just a video game, so if anything disappears, let it go. Make a new one, move on with your life. It's going to be okay. It's really frustrating. It can be really scary to lose something that you spend a lot of time working on. Freak out about it temporarily. Don't hurt anything in the game. Don't hurt yourself. And then once your freak out is over, just make a new one. You'll be fine. That is pretty much all the basics that I can think about. If an item is not green, that means you cannot eat it as food. You can use these things to build other stuff. I'm just collecting the seeds to make those seed bars. Always carry oxide on you. 24/7. Always. Because when you have your oxygen low, you are totally screwed if you don't have it. Totally screwed. You can find it everywhere. Oh god, a flash storm. Oh yay. I'll get to show you a flash storm. These are really bad and I might die. I'm gonna be Robocha. I might die. So, basically it's gonna be tons of thunder and lightning. It's a thunderstorm. It says a flash storm because it's really quick and it doesn't last a long time. But it's very powerful and it will strike trees and light them on fire and destroy your house. So, we are gonna equip the wooden hammer. Hope to God it has enough power to protect whatever damage the storm does. But, yeah, see? 120. 120. There you go. It's gonna light things on fire. It's probably the sound of trees being lit on fire outside. The priority is to keep your house intact. If your shelter goes out during these storms, you are going to sustain a lot of damage. It will not be fun for you. Keep your stuff repaired. Watch for fallen trees. Fire is only a big deal if it spreads along the ground or if your house gets struck by lightning, which is not likely if your house is made of wood, but is always possible. Yeah, that's the super scary sound of the storm outside. If you build a thatch house, it will fall apart immediately. So there's no point in making a thatch anything, in my opinion. It will just fall apart. Even the wind would destroy a thatch house. And, that should not happen. You also need wood to repair this. And I don't have any wood. Oh, I didn't just right out. Haha! This is why you always have spares of everything. My house is falling apart! Move! Anyway, it doesn't last a long time. When you first start out the game, it's not going to be that bad, but the higher your level is, the more intense these storms will be. So, in order to survive really strong storms and not have to freak out all the time, build a stone house the second you have the availability. You're going to need a masonry bench, and you're going to need stones, wood, and nails, I'm pretty sure, like copper nails or iron nails, one of the two. You're going to need to smelt that stuff in a forge, and you're going to need to make nails out of it, add an anvil, which you can build later. But until then, you're just going to have to repair your wooden house 6 million times, and that's the way your life is going to be. You don't have to do this. You can wait until it's really bad before you repair it, but I would not recommend that. See? And it's over. Really fast. No big deal. Everything's fine. You're going to see some broken pieces of your house. They'll just get put back into place like that when you replace it. The floor is typically fine during a storm. Just prioritize the roof and the walls. See? There you go. If it goes back up to full durability, you can move on to the next item. And you'll be fine. See? No big deal. Sometimes it won't let you do random things because it's stupid, but that's okay. Oh, it's broken. That's why. Okay. I'm what they call a silly goose. I apologize. It reached the end of like a 2-hour thing, and then it was done recording me. I am what they call a silly goose. Oh, look at all those trees on fire. Oh, okay. So, if there's no fiber touching your house, anything on fire will not be able to make it here. So, if I'm worried about my house being set on fire, I would pick up all the fiber in this area. I would go over here, pick up this, pick up this, pick up this. Now the fire is not going to spread beyond these things, because it can't. Pick up this stuff. Pick up whatever's on fire. Don't get too close to the fire. And then it'll just burn itself out and be done, and you won't have to worry about it anymore. I don't need this gorse, so I'm just going to destroy it. But yeah, it's just to get it out of the way. Anyway, so that is your tutorial on how to play Icarus. I couldn't think of a better end to this, but there you go. Again, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go back to the loading screen. Up here in the upper right-hand corner, it'll show you it saves every 60 seconds, so you don't need to manually save the game. I don't know why it needs your heartbeat, because this game is dumb, but anyways. This will be the list of the players over here, how many players are in the game. And what we're going to do is we are going to return to character select after it finishes saving. 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, and it's saved. So now we can return to character select. Everything will be exactly the way you left it when you get back, including your character's position. It's a little bit frozen. I've never done this before. I usually just immediately quit to the desktop. So the game is like, what are you doing? There it goes. Oh, it's struggling so hard. Okay. This game is not perfect, obviously. But that was level 4. I'm going to show you my level 51 character. Yeah. So you can load any of your previous prospects. This is the one I was just on with you guys. This was my first one that they dropped me into. This is where I died a bunch of times in the Arctic. This one is actually the good one. But I unfortunately got a broken bone glitch, so I couldn't fix that and I had to start over. And this is when I got killed by a bear like 2 hours ago, and I was like, you know what? I should just make a tutorial for this game instead of starting over. Oh. Anyway, so when they're talking about loadouts, we are gonna go all the way back here and we're gonna show you a loadout. So this is I Try Again, which is where I just got killed by the bear and decided to make a tutorial instead of starting over in the river area because I broke my leg in the other river area that I was playing in. I couldn't fix it. Okay, I bought these items in the workshop. I put these items into my loadout. And then I went on the mission. If I hadn't done that, I would not be able to take any of these items with me at all. When you have items that you need to sell, when you collect exotics and you send them back up to the station, this is what the screens will look like, only everything will be in black and white. When you need to unlock something, you can click on it. This is locked for now. I'm not really sure why, but anyways. In order to craft it, you have to research it first. So you have to right click to craft it. And it'll tell you that you can click to craft after you research it. So you have to research it first and then you craft it. What you need, in my opinion, is you need one food slot, one oxygen slot, and one water slot. That means that when you go into your character tab in your inventory, you can just drag and drop food and water into your inventory slots so that you can drink and eat automatically. You can already do that with your oxygen slot where you put oxide next to your oxygen bar, like I talked to you about earlier. But if you upgrade your exosuit, it'll let you do those things as well. Here are some of the specs for it. I'm pretty sure this is the one I invested in, but either way. You have all these options here, and you can sell your exotics for certain kinds of money. For example, let's go ahead and do this. We're going to go for the maximum amount of exotics we have, which is 27. And that will give you 135, whatever this money is. I think it's rubles, if I'm honest, because this is a Russian-based game. So, now that you have 227 rubles, you can go through and you can buy other stuff. It has armor. I've already bought and researched that. Resistance is important. Collision, stamina. Yeah. Okay, I don't have enough money for that. That's okay. It's pretty normal for exotics to not give you tons of money. It takes a lot of exotics to be able to buy these things, like 2 hauls at least. And they're rare, so exotics are difficult to find. This is a survival backpack. We have other backpacks. All these things can be invested in. You can get sheep, chickens, cows. You can even get little Laika, which is the first dog and the first animal in space, really. So they did a couple animals, but Laika was the first one to survive in space. They didn't plan for re-entry for Laika, so she died in space, unfortunately, and her remains were recovered. But she was a little street dog that the Soviet Union set up into space. So she was the first living animal to survive in space, and we miss her very much. You can get all these animals eventually. You have to spend money for them, though. Sometimes you have to have money and exotics in order to buy something, which I hate, because it takes so long to collect a large amount of exotics. You would not believe how long it takes. But anyways, you can get resources. I'm just going to show you all of these just really quickly. Deployables. This is a really good investment. I'm going to go ahead and craft this. Because obviously, as you can see, not sleeping through the night sucks. You are stuck in the dark and you cannot see anything. And it's hard to make a torch, typically. The good thing about this game is that when you first start and you are level 1 in this game, everything you unlock in that character will stay unlocked, even if you restart a different mission. So you never have to relearn any of the things that you relearn. However, when you go to the loadout screen, I now have a bed that I can buy. But if I lose this item and I don't put it in my dropship when I leave the game, I will never see it again. So you have to make sure whatever you buy from the workshop is the only thing you can take with you down to the planet. You have to always bring it back with you if you want to use it again. And you have to make sure that it's fully repaired as well. You can repair it typically on the planet. I'm not sure about these items because I have not interacted with them yet. But that is usually the way that things work. Anything else that you try to put in your inventory to bring back with you is going to disappear. Anything like wood, stone, housing, anything you can make on the planet will not transfer over to the station. The only things that will transfer over are items you have already brought with you from purchasing in the workshop and putting directly into your loadout. If I bring back these things from the game I'm in right now where I got killed by the cave bear, they will go back into this inventory, and when I restart a new mission, I can drag and drop them into my character in a new mission. Your character does not carry items. The mission carries items, which I also think is dumb, but whatever. You have to do this, so whatever. You have no choice. You can buy all these different things. This is just a brief look at the workshop loadout, and I invested in iron suits and enviro suits, armors, and deployables. Those are going to be your top 3. Anyways, so these are all my prospects. These are my stats here. I spent a lot of time in my first mission. So Another thing about the first mission is they don't give you a direct goal. They don't give you a direct goal. The goal is to survive. So they just drop you in there. They don't give you any instructions. They just say, good luck. Excuse me. And if you survive long enough and you unlock all the basic things they tell you to unlock, the mission is done. And you can leave. And you can do bigger, better missions later. I can show you this one, actually. I'll just show you some of the nicer things that I have gotten in this game. And then I will call it quits. Because you guys can jump around, do whatever you want to with the video itself. I just want to make sure I have all my bases covered and I give you guys a little glimpse of everything in the game. Because no matter what tutorials I come across, they never do anything sufficiently. So that's what I'm for. And again, I've spent like 60 or more hours in this game. So I might be at 100 hours. I can check Steam when I'm done, but anyway. So, this is my very first game that I did. This is like my 18th house. I'm a house builder, man. So I have 2 doors, obviously. This one goes out to my porch, the surrounding area. This is a contact board. This is what you are going to need to transfer exotics to the workstation, an orbital exchange interface. You will request the equipment. They will launch this fucker wherever they see fit. It should be within 200 meters of this board. It will open like this. You'll press F. You will drag and drop your exotics into this area. Obviously, it will not let you put anything else in here. And then you will click Deliver to Station. And then, when you leave this game and you log out and you go back to Character Select, you will be able to use those exotics to purchase things in the workshop. That is the only way to get anything off of the planet in this game. Okay, this is my house, as part of it. This is my fenced-in area. I loved this lake. I walked like really far south to find this lake. I think it has the best view. I'm backing a mountain, so nothing can really get at me from that side. Falling rocks are not a thing in this game. Falling trees are. Alright, this is my adult Tyrannus. His name is Sir Percival. Some of the names are automatically recommended to you. I'm going to make him sit still so we can keep an eye on him. But he won't listen to me because he's ridiculous. I said, stay! Stay! Where are you going? Stop it! Okay. Sometimes I don't listen. Anyway. This is my horse. He has a lot of skills I have not ramped up. But this is what it looks like. You can specialize in weight capacity, metabolic process. It's great if they're not perceived as a threat. I'm just going to throw everything in here because I'm not really in this game anymore. But anyways, these are all the options that you can have. And you will have to put a saddle on this mount in order for it to carry stuff. When they get hungry or thirsty, they'll automatically get up, even if you tell them not to. Anyway, besides that, you can also set their level of aggression. So you can set them to passive, where they won't fight anything, defensive, where they will protect themselves, or aggressive, to where they will attack any other animals around them that are not tamed, I hope. Let's check. Yes. Okay. Confirmed. Oh, I know that was silly, but some of these things you just don't know. You'll get its statistics, and it'll unlock skills. Once you tame these all the way, they will automatically level up. Like, you don't have to do anything. You just have to make sure they have plenty of food and water. This is my rain reservoir. What are you doing? Are you really swimming over to my property from all the way over there for no reason? Just to bother me? This game is ridiculous. Anyway. This is a water receptacle. It makes water a little bit better to drink. You can put charcoal in here. I don't need this, but I just left it here anyway. I just use the rain reservoir. It's not purified water. Again, I didn't unlock purified water until my next one, but whatever. I spent a lot of time in this game. This is a composter. You can make dirt and fertilizer here. It's a beehive. You put bees in this little slot down here, and they generate honeycomb. You can make stuff out of that. These are all my crop plots. My pumpkins. Pumpkins grow the fastest and they give the largest yield. So I got pumpkins, we got berries, we have plenty of wheat. Wheat is used to make, here we go, seed animal feed. So you basically need a ton of seed and this wheat. When you grow something yourself, it glows gold. Just means it does not go bad as quickly and it's slightly better quality. Anyway. That's what you make for your animals to eat. This is typically only for a buffalo or a horker. I don't know what that is. I haven't seen those yet. There's a water trough, a food trough, an animal bed. This is what you need for your baby animals to sleep in, but large animals will sleep in them as well. And this is what you need to ride your horse, which is a Tyrannus. This is my baby Benedict. I love my baby. He is maxed out in every way. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slots. Look at him go. We're just going to max him all the way out here. Let's go. I've had this horse since the beginning of the game. All the rest of them are relatively new. Especially this one, who's up in my face. Horse butt. This is my buffalo. Diogenes. You can get them to follow you. I don't believe you can ride them. You can maximize all their skills and stuff, and that's very useful for you. Once you put a bovine pack harness on them, this thing gets tons of cargo space. So that's excellent. I set all of these to wander. This is a Moa. Her name is 2. They are pretty much useless, in my personal opinion. I think you can put stuff on their backs as well, like a saddle, and ride them around. But until then, they don't do anything. They're not even aggressive, so they can't defend your house. So there's no option for aggression under combat. So, pretty useless, but they're pretty cool. I have 2 Moa. I have 4 of those. There's the food troughs. You just put stuff in. This is their seed animal feed. They will also eat meat. So you can do cooked meat for them. Any kind of food found on the planet by itself. And cooked food is fine. But they eat a lot. So I would not recommend getting a lot of pets unless you want to feed a lot of things. I use this wooden wall to defend my animals from predators because they will, like aggressive animals will randomly spawn and try to attack them, like wolves and stuff. Mostly it's other horses, if I'm honest. It's like, when you have a lot of horses in one area, more horses will spawn. You see, the coloration on these animals is also very different. This one's very red, those are very tan. This one's red and dark, and I have one that's just black in my other game. It's like mostly dark-ish, brownish black. So the color of these will vary. The color of all the other animals is consistent, as far as I personally have seen. When you go into a different biome, the wolves will be a different color, the animals will all be a different color, so that does adapt, but besides that, not really a big thing. It's my porch. Under here, these things technically need shelter to run, but they were too big to fit in the house, so I put them underneath here. It's a glass working bench and a concrete pourer. Whatever. They don't do a lot. You can make this fancy furniture later in the game. You can store stuff in it, but it never shows up. I wish it would show up so that you could see what you have, and it didn't look like an empty piece of furniture! But anyway. You can make this later. You need ice to fuel it, and when you start out your first couple of missions, you can't get ice from anywhere, so maybe don't bother to make this. Like you can see, the dried meat that you make on the drying rack lasts a lot longer than regular meat. It'll just spoil crazy fast. But yeah, as you can see, I have plenty of everything, and it doesn't matter to me. You can make other furniture. This is the fireplace. This is where I cook the meat, obviously. It creates a lot more charcoal. You put a top piece on it as well, so it's a complete chimney. Nicer furniture. It does not have a lot of inventory slots. It's only here so that I can look at something nice. I've never used this. I don't really know what it does. I made it because I had to like unlock other stuff. But anyways, get this little pot, woven rug. This is what your bed looks like, and this is the symbol you will see over your bed when it is your spawn point. Whenever I die, I will respawn right here, where all my stuff is. This is my storage wooden cupboards. These are the things that I'm keeping in it. I have a lot of everything, as you can see. I'm one of those people, I am kind of a hoarder, so whatever is really important, I will keep tons of it around. This is a kiwi. I don't know what this stuff does yet. And these people are supposed to go in the beehive, but I wanted to unlock something to breed bees. And I have, but I don't want to do that right here, right now, so I'm not gonna. I don't care about this right now, so I'm gonna put it right there. This is what the bees generate, honeycomb. You will also find this in beehives, along with bees that you can take. They will both generate honey, but you need a queen bee if you want to breed bees. Again, stuff that you grow will glow. Stuff that you do not grow will not glow. This is a textiles bench, machining bench, which is better than a crafting bench, a mortar and pestle, an anvil, masonry bench. This is where you're going to smelt things like steel and iron and copper. I have never found obsidian. There's no frozen wood here, and I have no idea what this is. But these are going to be your basic 3 anyways. When you upgrade this, it will be able to smelt more stuff, like gold and titanium and aluminum. Until then, you cannot smelt those things, and you just have to hold on to them. Like I'm doing here. You cannot smelt these things until you upgrade. And like I said, it takes a very long time to upgrade, which can be frustrating. This is a generic cooking bench. This does all the same stuff, only smaller. I don't know why I have them both. Maybe because I'm silly. This is an oxidizer. These are oxygen bladders that you put in this container. When you remove them, the game will show you that there is a slot empty and you can put something in there. For example, I can put in this oxygen tank that took a lot of material to make. And once it is full, it will stop and you'll put it right back in your oxygen container. These are only for emergencies now. This can hold up to 100 oxide. You can make all your fancy furniture here. You need condensed enzymes to make the statues, which really sucks in my opinion, because you have to make the vapor condenser and put it over a geyser, which is so much work just to make a statue. But that's the way it works. You can make candles and put them on stuff. They'll run by beeswax or animal fat. You can get a lantern, like I have in my inventory slot right now. And in order to recharge it, you use animal fat. So, I think I have some at the machining bench. Yeah. You have some animal fat, and you will right-click the lantern and do repair. And it fills your fuel up, and it lasts a lot longer than the torches do. This scythe is for iron sickle. This is better for collecting foraging. Like when you cut down plants with it, it will get you a lot more. Iron axe is really all you need. A steel pickaxe is a necessity. You don't need anything else made of steel except for this. Because without a steel pickaxe, you can't get aluminum, titanium, or platinum. But besides that, I just carry a really big warhammer because I'm a fan of it. An iron knife. You need an iron knife in order to skin a buffalo, a bear, and other large creatures. So if it, for some reason, is not letting you skin something, it's because your knife is not high level enough. You can't use a stone, you have to use an iron knife. This crossbow is really efficient, but I'll tell you what, I am super attached to those bone spears. Like, this does not do nearly as much damage. Like, look at it. And we look at these. Only 95 max projectile damage. A bone spear will do 200. Let me show you. If you scroll down here, this is where they are. 200 to 225 projectile damage. And this is a way more advanced piece of machinery than this. So just stick with the bone javelins. Fishing bench, you can fillet stuff here. You can build stuff here. I like to fish, but I have not maxed it out in this game, so it's just chilling. This drying rack is absolutely massive, but this is where you dry your meats at. This is a more advanced furnace. This is where you can smelt things like titanium. Silica can be smelted into glass. This is refined gold and platinum. You'll have to unlock carbon fiber paste in order to make carbon fiber. They did not tell me that anywhere. It was really hard for me to figure out, so I'm telling you right now. I've never found any sand. I guess if you dig in different places, you can find it. I've never found any sorcia. I don't know what it is. Scoria. I don't know what that is. I've never even said that word out loud, obviously. I haven't found any clay yet. You could probably dig in an area that looks like clay, and it will be clay, but I've never done it because you don't need to. These are going to be your main ones. And that's an upgraded furnace, which means we don't need this one anymore. I just like the way it looks, so it stays there. This is the anvil. You can make your weapons at the anvil. I did unlock a watering can because I had a lot of crops. Copper nails and iron nails are going to be your best friend when you're building better furniture. But yeah, this is my humble abode. I keep my wood stacks here. This is a skinning bench. It is completely useless. You can get the same amount of shit from a knife. The one thing you should need is a trophy bench and a taxidermy knife. Let me show you. Okay. So this is all your basic stuff. Okay. Once you get a taxidermy knife and you build a trophy bench, which is over here, now you will be able to get a vestige of an animal, like an antelope vestige, a deer vestige. It's basically just their head. It's their head. And you can put those things and mount them on the wall like normal trophies. But you need a taxidermy knife to collect them, and you need a trophy bench to build them. Now, all this other stuff that I've unlocked, this is pretty much useless. This is what you need to exchange exotics. All these things are they were totally necessary to me in this playthrough. So you can just take a look at what I unlocked here. It's really not a lot, as you can see, but then you go up to tier 2 and tier 3 and tier 4. These are things that I have unlocked in my later games. And it's really not a lot because you don't need most of this shit. I'm sorry, you just don't. It's completely up to you as to what you do and don't unlock. You just need to be aware. This is my better character, so this is what he looks like. To be honest, I didn't even know that these up here existed because I'm silly and I didn't understand any of the tutorials. So you can click through all of these, and you have all these different options to upgrade. But that's why I'm maxed out in survival and nothing else. I have my limited map for this area, because I have not been able to travel very far. In certain games, if you don't choose open world, that means that you can only go around this area. I cannot travel outside the areas of this map that you see right here. That's because I did not choose open world. I have traveled all the way to the edges of these areas, and they will say you have to turn back, and in 17 seconds, I don't know if they kill you or they just shove you back into the area that's playable, but you cannot go any further than any of this. You cannot climb the mountains and go over them. You cannot pass these areas. It will appear as though you can, but it will not let you. It will just say, turn back. Another thing to keep in mind is that if you do wander into these other areas, you will get heat exposure or you will get cold exposure. And cold exposure, this area is really very dangerous. If you're going to go to the Arctic, you have to be prepared for that. You have to make sure your suit will protect you, that you have plenty of things with you, that you have all your supplies. There's almost no wood there. There's only sticks and stones. There's nothing else. You will find no shelter, no trees, no fiber, no nothing. So you have to be very careful when you go to the Arctic section. I know this is a lot, you guys. I'm just trying to make sure you have everything. It's my cute little house. Everything else is pretty much the same. As you level up, creatures will level up with you, so that when you kill them, it'll help you level up a little bit faster. Look at this idiot. You are stuck in my property, you dingus. Moa, don't walk right in front of it. I'm trying to shoot it. See, this thing does almost no damage. I mean, it does half damage, but I'm spoiled on the bone spear, dude. Spoilt. You hit something one time with a bone spear, it's dead forever. Dumb little thing. Again, waste not, want not. Sometimes when you kill something with a spear or a crossbow, you can get your ammo back. But when it comes... and throwing knives as well. But for some things, like bullets, you can't get that stuff back. So just be careful of what you can and cannot replenish when it comes to your weapons. Anyways, I pretty much just store everything. I'll just hit add to stacks. And if I need to make something, I'll just remove stuff that I don't need to make it so that there's space in the inventory. Because if you go to make something and you hit craft, it's not going to do anything. Because there's nowhere for it to craft to, if that makes sense. It can't pop over to your inventory. It has to come from here. Even if you remove it, the queue is still stuck. You have to clear it, and you have to craft it again. And then it'll show up here. If there's no slot, it will not create anything. So what you do, take the raw meat over to the drying rack, and put it in there, and now it'll dry your meat for you. I really don't need this chimney cap, so we're just going to put it over here. But anyways, that's the generic idea. I can show you my other loadouts as well if you're interested. If you're not interested, that's totally fine. If you gleaned what you need from this video, that's exactly what its purpose was. It had no other purpose. I'm not an expert player. I've not been doing this for years and years and years. I've only been doing this year, but I was frustrated by the lack of tutorials in the area. So, in the area of this game. If you enjoyed it, I would appreciate hearing from you. If you didn't enjoy it, please be nice to me. I'm stupid. Look, they're swimming across. They're swimming across just so they can be on my property. I don't know what in the frickle frackle they think they're going to find here, but it's nothing. They don't eat your food or anything. They don't want your stuff. They're just going to be in your space to annoy you. Oh, that's a fish. Anyway, like I said, I'm stupid. God, I have to get unstuck in my own house. Told ya. I was pressing the wrong buttons. Anyways. This is your tutorial on Icarus. Again, my name is Mikey. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know. Please be nice to me. I am stupid. And, I have tried very hard to make this video for you. So, drop a like, drop a comment, or whatever. You don't have to subscribe. Oh, God. There he is! Telling me to hydrate. Shut up! Shut up. Yeah, whenever you get too hungry, too out of oxygen, or too thirsty, Soul will remind you to do that stuff. So it's a lot easier in the tutorial game. Anyway. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so sorry if I rambled on and this video was terrible. It is my first video ever of all time. Anyway, I hope that you enjoy Icarus as much as I have, because I love this game. I live in this game. I have a life too, but I also live here, and it's great, and I really love it, and I hope that you loved it too. Anyway, that's it. Have a nice life.